Hi everyone. Well, there's some pretty significant changes coming up over the next few days with this fairly mild, dreary, damp, cloudy weather changing into something a little bit more seasonal, really. So at first a lot more windy and wetter, and then dry, cold, and bright, which is something I personally am quite looking forward to. So we'll get into the forecast. And you can see here on the synoptic chart that we have this area of high pressure that's been given all the grey, mild, or fairly mild, like I said, moody weather with all the drizzle and that. And that's gradually moving away to the south. But we do have this fairly mild air still over us. You can see by these colours here that's showing these not desperately warm, but fairly mild atmospheric temperatures. Now, as we move through into Tuesday, we start to see the winds change and pick up from the southwest here as it goes around from this area of low pressure. Still in mild air though, so nothing really changes at this point. And then on Wednesday, we see this really potent little system developing as it meets between the cold air from the north and the much warmer air from the south. And this triggers this formation of this really quite a strong little system, bringing some heavy rain and some very strong winds, especially towards Wednesday afternoon and evening. But then once that moves through, is a big change. You can see here that by Thursday morning, we're in the blues. We've got this much colder air pushing down on this cold front from the north. And really, that stays with us, the colder air, right through into Friday and possibly into the weekend as well. Beyond that, there's quite a lot of complications with the patterns, with different models showing different outcomes and scenarios. But we'll get into that towards the end of the forecast. So first off, we'll run through the cloud cover for the week. Then we'll get on to the rainfall and then the wind and temperature. So let's do it this way. So we'll run through the cloud here. So this is tonight and into tomorrow. You can see there's a few cloud breaks around. Certainly not quite as dense as what we've seen recently, but there will be some cloud around still. And then as we move through in towards Tuesday, you can see possibly a few more cloud breaks developing before this much thicker cloud comes in from the west and northwest, bringing that rain, and then it stays with us really through into Wednesday with that wind and rain. And then, as you can see, suddenly changes. We move into Thursday with a sharp line really of much drier, clearer air moving in from the north. And this is where Thursday will be. Well, it should be a lovely day really. It'll be cold and it'll be breezy, but it will be really fresh and crisp with some good sunny spells. And then as we move into Friday, not much changes really. We see pretty decent conditions across the island with frost at night, but sunny during the day. But of course, we'll get into the full detail of that in just a moment as well. So let's have a run through of the rainfall for this week. Now it's starting off this evening. You can see it's pretty dry. There may well be towards tomorrow morning some patchy showery rain moving up from the south for a time. Doesn't look that significant, but there could be a bit of patchy stuff here and there. And then as we move through into Tuesday, further patchy rain and showery rain moving through, possibly a little bit more persistent as the day goes on. And then towards evening, you can see this rain moving down from the northwest. Now, this is the start of the front that's moving. Well, this first part of it is actually a warm front coming through. And so we stay mostly to the south of that. But then the system itself gets really close and the cold front runs through with potentially some very heavy rain as we move towards Wednesday evening and towards early Thursday morning. And if we can just overlay the temperatures here, there is a chance that this rain could turn to snow on its back edge, or sleet or snow, especially over high ground. So towards the early hours of Thursday morning, we could see a bit of winteriness on the hills, perhaps, maybe down, like I said, to lower levels, but we're not expecting to see anything on the ground. And then this rain continues to move through and disappears. And then by the end of the week, by Friday, we've got some wintry showers in the channel here. So the temperatures over land are going to be quite cold, 1, 2 or 3. So any showers that fall will be of sleet or snow. But it does look like the most of these will be staying in the channel. At least at the moment it seems that way. Now let's have a look at the all-important wind for the week. And we can see what's happening with this little system on Wednesday. So you can see at the moment the winds are fairly light really. I mean, these are in gusts, so we haven't got the average speed here. We've got the gusts we're running on, so it gives you a bit more of an idea of the strength as we move towards the second, should I say, towards Wednesday. So we can see the strongest gusts here aren't that strong. This leads to an average speed of 5-10 mile an hour. In fact, into tomorrow, really, it picks up a little bit with the average speed probably 10-12 miles per hour, gusting up to about 20 to 24 maybe. So not too bad tomorrow, just a little bit breezy, but from the southwest. And then as we move through to Tuesday, you can see these winds picking up quite a bit, gusting really at 40-45 miles per hour as we move through Tuesday. So quite a breezy day, possibly a little bit stronger later on Tuesday. And then we start to see this system moving through on Wednesday. Now, it's difficult to say exactly how strong these winds are going to be. This is the slightly higher resolution model. Originally it was looking like 70-80 miles per hour possible. Now it looks perhaps slightly less than that. It is very difficult to say for sure. But we'll go back one frame there. But you can see here in the channel the winds are still pushing 70-80 miles per hour. So I mean, we're looking at 70 miles per hour expect along the coasts and hills exposed to the wind. So yeah, it is a very windy day, and that suddenly changes really and just switches straight into a direct northerly at the early hours of Thursday, or Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. And you can see then we've just got a moderate breeze coming down from the north, even turns a bit more into the northeast by Friday. And it does pick up a little bit down here along the coast, so it will be feeling very cold, but it will be bright and sunny. Now let's have a little run through the temperatures, and as we go through this, we'll show you the actual exact numbers for the temperatures as well, but obviously it will take a little bit too long to do it bit by bit like that, and a bit hard to watch, so we'll do it this way. So we'll run through, and we can see on tomorrow, temperature's not too bad. So for 2 p.m. we've got temperatures of around 10 degrees across the island in general. And so it doesn't look too terrible. It's fairly mild. And then as we move through into Tuesday, the temperatures stay pretty mild really, especially down here in the south. And I mean, we can look at that. We can see 10, 11, maybe even 12 degrees slowly reaching its way towards the island. So yeah, a pretty mild day on Tuesday. Then as we move through into Wednesday, it stays very mild with temperatures 10 to 12 degrees. But then later you can see that colder air coming down from the north, much colder air in fact. And if we look at it now, I mean by 6 a.m. on Thursday, we've still got temperatures above freezing here in the channel, but temperatures close to freezing moving down across the island. And then we look for Thursday at 3 p.m. You can see that the temperatures are 2 or 3 degrees. 4 degrees Celsius here is possibly pushing it a bit. We're expecting it to be a bit lower than that with the north to northeasterly breeze that will be blowing. And then as we go into Thursday night, you can see that the temperatures start to fall away. So across inland parts, we're seeing temperatures a couple of degrees below freezing. On the island itself, in more urban areas, we're looking at temperatures closer to freezing. But yeah, it will be a cold night and definitely a very widespread frost. And then as we move into Friday daytime, we can't go any further than midday on Friday. That's as far as this model takes us. But you can see the temperatures 2 or 3 degrees, probably closer to 1 or 2 looking at this really. But yeah, so it looks like a chilly few days once the rain clears and the nasty stormy conditions on Wednesday. So now let's take the model a little bit further out. Now, this is where it gets a bit more complicated. So if we based our forecast solely on one model, we'd almost certainly get it very, very wrong. So we're going to have a little look now, and we'll try and explain what the situation is, and you may see where we're coming from. So on Friday, we've already shown you this chart. This is the German model that shows an area of high pressure across the UK. We've got these easterly winds in the south here, and we've got this cold air. Now, as we move through into Saturday, you can see, oh, we seem to have lost the colours there. As we move into Saturday and then into Sunday, something changes. So we get this area of low pressure down here to the southwest starts to push its way towards us. So we could get a little bit of sleety snowiness at first as the front comes in, followed by rain and much milder conditions, especially as we move into Sunday daytime. And you can see this very mild air, these oranges, moving back up from the southwest. But if we swap that over for the global GFS model, it's very different. So we've got that high pressure again on the Friday, sat over the southern half of the UK with that cold air. Now, what happens with this model is that on the Saturday, that low pressure doesn't quite really get in fully. And the cold air actually, well, the warmer air, should I say, the milder air, slips along the English Channel into France. And we stay in the colder air, so we stay to the north of that low pressure system. And of course, if we ended up with a scenario like that, it would bring lots and lots of snow and it would be extremely cold. Now, at the moment, we're going really more for, this is perhaps a 25% likelihood with 75% likelihood of it being the other option, the milder option. So at the moment we are going really for the milder option. We think that is the most likely scenario, but we obviously can't rule this out, and we will absolutely give you updates on this as the week goes on. So there we are, really looking like improving briefly before becoming very unsettled and wet and windy towards the middle of the week, and then later in the week turning much colder with frost and ice risk, especially really maybe the early hours of Thursday if the cloud breaks early enough, and also Thursday night with the residual runoff from the rainfall on Wednesday and Wednesday evening. So that's it for now. We will certainly give you more updates and possibly update the weather warning depending on what's looking likely over the next couple of days. And that's it, really. Goodbye for now.